Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm really glad you're here. Today's date is Thursday, May 25th, 2023. And in this video, we're going to take a look at some alt media chatter and see if we can't see past it to get some clarity. All right, I'll switch the camera and show you what I'm talking about. As always, this compilation will be available to you as a Facebook link in the video description box. Okay, there's a lot of alt media chatter going on now that this coming Memorial Day weekend, that there's a big event planned. In fact, some alt media voices that have a lot of followers are saying, this is a big weekend. This is a big weekend. I want to make sure we're not getting built up with some false expectations to have a loose harvest of disappointment. And I think the cards will give us a little clarity on that. You see, this past week, we've been hearing about how United States senators had been issued satellite phones. 50 of them accepted them, 50 out of the 100. And let's look at some news that came out, supposedly from trusted sources. And I'll show you, like I said, what I'm talking about. I just thought this meme was funny. The writer's strike affects everyone, even the feds. If you followed that, an empty U-Haul truck that only had that flag in it, tried to ram the White House, got stuck on the curb. They laid the flag out, and guess who was on the scene to take pictures so fast? CNN. Okay, now, before I get into the second comment, I want you to listen here. Anons are fully aware that there will be no overt reinstatement of 45 until we have a nuclear event, a scare event, which, you know, they're talking about that, and the financial collapse has completed. Otherwise, the entire reason for devolution can be thrown into the bin. Okay, so here's what came out this weekend, or this week, in fact, just 12 hours ago, trying to explain the satellites. It's interesting, but don't listen with total acceptance, okay? This was sent out during the night by a particular grouping that has yet to be wrong. The special satellite phones issued to U.S. senators had a specific reason. The rumored Memorial Day bunker vacation for the U.S. senators and their families is related. Reinstating 45 has been endlessly delayed due to fears among the junta, I think I said that right, I read it so I haven't heard it said, that civil war will break out. Now they feel more confident and have plans to proceed. The Senate is the arm of Congress that swears in a president, true. Special interests who have benefited from the 46th administration would take all steps possible to force senators to be absent or avoid the vote call. They plan to escort senators to the bunkers where a vote is to be taken, arresting them if need be. Now, not announced to the public is that SCOTUS long ago found that 45 was the legitimate 2020 WINNER. The U.S. military also has never considered 46 their CIC. The fact that the U.S. is and has been under martial law since the fall of 2015 is also not public knowledge. Although if you're listening to me, it's now part of yours. That's also true, okay? If these facts were to be laid out before the Senate and they were forced to do their duty in swearing in the legitimate commander-in-chief, what would the outcome? What would be the outcome? In a bunker setting, they could challenge the Feldman double, the Feinstein mental competence, and force the Harris VP double to follow the Constitution, but the exact outcome is uncertain. Now, I want to make it clear. Really smart anons that I trust and value their opinion say that while there's some facts embedded in what I just read to you, they believe that it's actually been put out by the deep state to get patriots' hopes up that this weekend is the weekend, okay? And then have a nice little loose harvest and further discredit some of these voices that are jumping on this bandwagon in eagerness or hopefulness or what have you, to further discredit them. So when events really do come about, people are even more leery about attaching hope, belief, and action to what they're hearing might have occurred. Well, I want to be a smart patriot. And I think that the people who watch this want to be that too. I mean, we're other things, okay? We're truth seekers. We're hopefully growing spiritually and on an ascension path, as individuals, as souls. But we want to be smart about the theories we hang our hats on. So let's take a look with the cards and ask about this, okay? The theory that's being bandied about, that this coming weekend is a big event-filled weekend that may signal a change in the United States governmental structures, officials, what have you. I'd like the universe to comment about that and just give us insights and information about what will truly be the result of this coming week. Okay, so let's see what the cards have to say. Wait, card just jumped out. It was the Ace of Wands. So let's keep that in mind. I'm going to plug that back in and shuffle officially over here. But when a card truly jumps like that, it's good to take notice of it, okay? So I want to be real clear on our question. We would like insights and information about what will truly be the outcome of this coming week and this weekend, and should we be giving any credence to the theories that it's going to be an event-filled weekend that will result in governmental, structural, and position changes. Let's see what the universe wants us to know. So, does the deep state want us to get our hopes up? Get those hopes dashed? Have people that should be somewhat trustworthy less trusted? Is that what's going on here? So we're looking for insights, information, and just kind of what the outcome will be of this coming weekend as far as the US government, positions, etc. Then at the end of this, no matter what the cards say, I'll tell you what my personal theory is. Okay, the Chariot, okay, is our first card. Then we have the King of Pentacles. We have the Four of Pentacles. I'm laughing. Remember that FBI truck? You can tell they're running out of money. They didn't even have anything too interesting in it. Okay, so they're marshaling their resources. All right, we have the Seven of Swords, the Moon, Death, the Tower. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, there looks like there is something to this rumor that this may be an event-filled weekend. Let me say what I'm seeing here, okay? I love it when the cards don't, that they surprise me. And my intuition and the cards need to blend in here nicely, and let's make them do that. Okay, what I'm reading here is we were asking about events for this coming weekend, the Memorial Day weekend for the United States, and the 50 satellite phones that have been issued to senators. Was that info release about a bunker weekend for some of the senators? Was there credence to that? What, would we be looking at some big changes? All right, now, so I wasn't initially seeing anything that would make me think there was credence to it, okay? We do have the Chariot, so there is moving events. There are things happening, and the Chariot often shows up when there is a move to be had. King of Pentacles is is a card of wisdom and sovereignty, and just providing some clarity to that. That if there are actions, okay, a lot of them, there is some truth to the fact that the white hats are ready to make some moves, okay? Now, you saw me laughing at this. For the recent past, we had the Four of Pentacles, which is always about kind of conserving your resources, sometimes to the point of being miserly if it's a personal read. But in politics, it tends to more for plans, action, and resources that you're willing to invest in it. So there's been a careful scaling back of some of these events, like that FF with the U-Haul truck, okay? All right, now we have the current here. We have some shenanigans going on with the Seven of Swords. Now, swords are words, thoughts and words, okay? The Seven of Swords is almost always talking about how somebody's trying to get away with something, but they're not going to be nearly as successful as they hope to be, okay? They will get away with something, but not nearly as much as they planned, okay? They're gonna have to satisfy themselves with not getting all the marbles. Now it gets really interesting in the near future. Folks, the United States, and that means the world, is getting really close to some big events. We have the Moon card here. Okay, the Moon is a card talking about transitions. It's got a couple little towers on the side of it here, and quite often it can indicate some loss of life. And on the next side of it is the Death card. Now, so working together here, it's not working in a positive way. It's kind of confirming that there's some big events that are on the horizon, possibly. The Death card isn't always about death. It's more about a long, slow change. And we know that we have had a lengthy wait for things to unfold and for wrongs to be righted. Okay. The Tower is showing up again in our near future, just like it did before the London Bridge event, just like it has occasionally when 46 is in the read. It's showing up here for the near future. So we may have an event-filled weekend. We truly may have an event-filled weekend. This item I read to you may have a little more validity than I originally thought, but I don't want to put too much energy into it, and I'll explain why. I would rather watch things unfold and then invest my energy into them, into making the best possible outcome of whatever events have happened, and investing my energy in positive action, not in speculation and needless worry. So if we have an event-filled weekend, I will see as the events unfold and I will deal with them. And I would advise everyone else to do the same thing as well. Let's take a look at a couple more cards here and see what's going on. Insights and information. Okay. We have the Seven of Wands, determination card. We have the Sun. Okay. We are moving up closer and closer. The Sky event and the Tower event are very much linked, very much linked. Okay. But the Sun card is always one of hope and success and fulfillment, and nothing to worry about here. This card is usually a good signifier for determination. So if the white hats do make moves, it's well thought out and well planned, and they have the high ground. Page of Pentacles, and another really good card, especially landing on top of these. We're being told not to worry, not to worry. Page of Pentacles is a card that signifies worthwhile effort and diligence. And the Ten of Cups is one of total celebration, all ages celebrating. So we are getting close to that precipice. We really, really are. And these cards seem to be confirming that. So let's recap. I came into the reading sharing information with you that I'd found on some alt media chatter sites that there was apparently some news released about what the purpose of those satellite phones to the senators might be. And I encouraged everybody to listen with your discernment on high. Okay. I wasn't fully accepting it. I'm still not. I still think there's a possibility that this level of activity that's mentioned in that comment is not going to happen, and that there is a hope to have some disappointed patriots, disappointed citizenry, and some slightly discredited truth tellers moving forward, because that's always an effort that's in the works. As alt media and alternative sources of information, including me, gain some traction and people listen and start using their discernment and go, hey, you know, they're speaking some truth, or they're at least trying to speak truth. There is that effort to have events that get our hopes up and then dash them. That makes a loose harvest for evil. And that makes it harder to get people staying on board, staying red-pilled and not black-pilled, you know, not getting too discouraged. So I still say stay the course and see, okay? So let's look at what we had here. Our question about insights and information about this coming week. Was there a big event to be had? Got one of my white hat cards here with the chariot saying that there is some plans and some things that are on the move. Okay. Now, we were told no matter what happens, this was clarifying the question. King of Pentacles is showing up and he's got sovereignty and wisdom and leadership. And so it's a well thought, what does play out this coming week has been well thought out. Absolutely. Now, the recent past told us that they've had to be a little bit careful with the resources. And I found humor in that with that false flappy thing with the U-Haul truck at the White House this week. It was empty. U-Haul, oh my gosh. In the current, we have the card that shows us that there's some, whatever does happen, okay? It's not going to be as much as either side wanted. And any side that was trying some shenanigans with this, whether it was people trying to get patriot hopes up unrealistically so that they could be dashed and discouraged, they're not going to have quite the effect that they wanted. Good. People like us are going, well, wait a minute. We want that good news, but we're in it to win it. If it's a long game, we're still in it. Okay. We'll see what happens. We'll deal with it as it does, and we'll make the best of it. Okay. Near future card showed up the moon. Okay. Moon is really never a positive card, other than the fact that sometimes it talks about a chapter is ending, a new one starting. So in that way, it may be a really nice card to see in our near future on this question. Next to it was the death card, which always indicates a change that's been a long time in happening. And we know we've been waiting a long time for positive changes in our world. Now, on the other side of it, less insightful, we had the Tower card. Tower card's going to talk about a tower moment, okay? And when I got a few other cards laying on top of it was the Sun, which is really positive, and the Ten of Cups. So it's kind of like, don't worry about it. If stuff, big things happen, okay, they're well thought out, well planned, and we're going to end up being really, really happy with them. So the Tower moment isn't a moment of despair and worry and issues for the white hats, but for the deep state. Okay, now here's my personal thoughts on this matter. We're just days away from the debt ceiling being reached yet again for the US government. And there's lots of politicking going on to raise it up. In other words, to keep our economy running on a worthless fiat dollar for a few more days or weeks. They're just delaying the inevitable. I'd like you to remember something. The fiat dollar is basically a system of slavery for us. It needs to go away. And in many countries it has. And I believe if we have events this weekend, it's because of, on the one hand, the deep state would still like to have the fiat dollar recognized. It's a losing battle. Over half of the world is using other currencies now. And there's many places where the US dollar is worthless. Okay. Seems like only the G7 countries are the ones that are really still pushing the fiat currencies and not successfully. So there's going to be a lot of fiat dollar mucky mucks that are going to be trying to delay the inevitable, maybe forestall it, and just having a temper tantrum when it doesn't work. That means, as always, we who could get caught up as collateral damage, regular ordinary people or small corporations, things like that, we need to be on guard. We need to have situational awareness, okay? Whether that's an invitation that's too good to be true to go show your patriotism at some event or whatever it might be. It could be as simple as when you're dining out in a restaurant, do you always know where the exits are? You know, if you scope out where the bathroom is in a restaurant, you should also scope out where the exits are, just in case you need to beat a hasty retreat, okay? It's no harm in making sure you're safe and you know how to get out of a place and more than one way to get out of a place. So as we go into Memorial Day weekend with the cookouts and remembering that what we're thanking is those who gave the ultimate sacrifice in our armed services who will never come home, never hold their children, never have the opportunities that they gave us by giving up their life. Celebrate, absolutely celebrate, but do it with situational awareness. And if those upcoming event cards play out so that there is some big event, know that first of all, it's not going to be as big as was originally hoped, okay? But ultimately, especially with the collapse of the fiat dollar, nothing can stop what is coming. And what's coming is absolutely fantastic. So, as this weekend approaches, and I'll be with you, I'm going to do videos every day is my plan right now, okay? As this video approaches, buy those supplies and celebrate and enjoy your family and give thanks to those who gave their life so that we could have ours, and know that there are still people doing that to this day, quietly behind the scenes, giving up a lot of their lives, if not their life itself, so that we can celebrate and anticipate that the world is changing in marvelous ways, and it is. So until next time, I send you love and light and all things bright, and wish the very best for each and every one of you watching this. Good night.